So yesterday we understood what are rule sets all about and how exactly the versioning happens, how exactly you can move a given product once the build is complete, how we can move it to QA, and also we understood how the versioning is there, the major, the minor, and the patch version, how locking gets enabled, how you can enable checkout on rules, how exactly a user can check out and work on a rule, and at the same time if any other user tries to access it, how he sees an error message which stops him from modifying it any further. So that was a really good understanding session to understand what rule sets are all about. Today, we want to understand or learn how exactly binary files are dealt with. For example, on this user interface right now, if you see there is an icon which is my company's logo, right? Similarly, for example, if you go to uber.com, you'll see a logo for Uber. There's a logo for Uber. Similarly, there is a logo for example, if I go to paytm.com, Paytm has their logo, right? See here, Paytm UPI is what it tells. So how can we incorporate images in our Pega application? This is an icon or an image. Do we agree? Yes, no, right? So how can we incorporate an image like this or a sign-in option like this is something we'll try to understand how we can incorporate stuff like this. So it will be a generic approach, so you will be understanding how exactly any of such use cases can be implemented. Let me save this image. Let us try to use this image. Let me save this as Paytm logo. Perfect. Good. So something like this, how can we achieve this is what we are going to understand. So we do have a sufficient user base, I guess. Perfect. Let's try. Okay, so today's topic is understanding how exactly images can be referred and how exactly you can enable links. For example, registering a user, how can you do it, how can you incorporate such requirement in your user interface is something we'll understand. Admin at alpha is my application rules is my password, the username and password. I'm trying to log into my system to implement one such requirement, and to do that we'll be using binary files in Pega. Binary files in Pega. So this is not very fancy. It's exactly similar to how you do image upload in Instagram or Facebook or something like that. Just need to understand where exactly you can do it and how exactly you can do it. Perfect. We have downloaded an image for Paytm, okay, and then we will see how exactly we can incorporate that image within Pega, and also how exactly we can enable something like a sign in or a register sort of a approach where the user clicks on sign in and then he should be able to get a pop-up like this. You should be able to get a pop-up like this. I'm getting this error because I'm trying to access this particular application from a area which is not part of India, because I'm trying to hit it from United States. That's why it's like you don't have permission to access this. That's fine, no problem. But you get the point, right? How exactly we can implement an image like this or a registration link like this is what we'll try to understand. How exactly can that be done? So all these images or anything are binary files. Do we agree? A binary file is something which is built by using zeros and ones. Ultimately, your computer only understands zeros and ones. Yes or no? Everything is a binary file. For computer, that's what it understands. You know, that's what it understands. It doesn't understand when you talk to it in English, Hindi, or this thing. Every instruction gets translated into zeros and ones, and then he's able to the computer is able to understand. That's a language it understands. So images are also binary files. To support these binary files, Pega gives us an option. Let us see how exactly we can incorporate, or load images in Pega as binary files. To do that, I'll go to my records tab, and there is a category called technical, under which we saw activity, we saw circumstance definition, circumstance template is what also we have already seen these, right? Yes or no? We have also seen a message in this particular bundle. There is also a file called as binary file. Just click on this. You will see all the binary files here available, which are existing. But Paytm, the logo which we saw, this is not here because this is some custom image. Like this, when you're working with your client, they will have their own custom images. Yes or no? See, there is a type also. What type of image is it? For example, if I open this particular, I'm just opening one of the records. Under technical category, binary file comes up. See, for tag, they have an image here which looks like this. It's very basic, not something which is too fancy. This is what Pega out of the box which is giving. If you see the view XML, you will know the PXOBJ classes rule file binary. PXOBJ class for binary files is rule file binary, belongs to rule file binary. All the instances belong to rule file binary class, the PXOBJ class. Now let us say I want to create my own binary file here. All I have to do is, you know, all I have to do is just right click on technical category or this binary file instance and say create. And it should give me this thing. It should give me this form where it is asking exactly how it asks for other things. But if you see, there is no class associated with this binary file, you know, a different class, for example, application class or something, it's not associated with that. Very important. Okay, and then you can create that file. So when we we took that file, we saved it to our downloads. Let me see what format is it. png file. Okay, so let us say the file is some image, right? abc image. It's abc image. You need to specify a directory. If the directory is not there, you can give any new name for the directory. For example, I'll call it abc directory. What is the extension of this file? png. For those who joined late, all we did was we right clicked on this and saved this file, and it got saved in my downloads as paytm logo.png file. That is why I am referring to this particular, I'm giving some name to the image and then I am calling it .png file. And if you see, it is being getting saved as part of my auto insurance application in alpha auto 010102. Why? Because 01 is locked. Yes or no? Right? Perfect. So I'm able to do that. So let me say create and open. Once you say create and open, this should give you an option to upload that file. Do we see that? Perfect. See, just click on upload and then pick that file, which file you want to refer that. So let me say choose, and let me say this file, open, upload file. All that we have done so far is came to, let me save this. See, am I able to see the Paytm image? Perfect. So the image size is little big. Let us see if we can modify that. Do we have specifications? No items here. It's quite big, but that's okay. Just to understand, let's keep it this way. Mm, Perfect. So now what we have to do, we have to incorporate this in any of the sections. Like that is section is something which we are displaying on UI when the user is working on a flow. Yes or no? Somehow feel this image is too big. Let me pick something else. Be it DM image logo. Just to make it look slightly smaller, you know. Let us pick something slightly smaller. We click on images. Everything looks big. Okay. Say okay. Download slightly smaller image because I don't want my UI to look weird. And let's say upload file, upload, and so whenever we have to modify and show something, of course we have to do it on user interface. Yes or no? See, I have to check out before I save it. So I'm checking out. Then when I save, okay, this is decent. Perfect. I save this change. Perfect. All this change has to happen on a user interface through a section. We have to incorporate this change via a section on my user interface to be able to see it in the workflow. Let us try to do that. Okay. Let me modify any of the existing sections. Let us go to our work class, figure out what sections we have. We do have many sections. Let's see where exactly we can put it. Mm, Agency address. Okay, let us say customer details section. In customer details section, if you see, right now, if you see, I'm not able to modify it. You know why? Because it's in the locked rule set. If I have to edit it, I can save as this to the open rule set and I can do it. So let me save as this section to my new rule set 01002. So now you will have two copies of this section, one in 010101 which has previous changes. The new one, all the new changes are part of 010102. Agreed? Yes, no, perfect. So now I am in 01002. I have checked out this rule. Let me do some modification. Let us say I want to add a layout. All I have to do is click on structural, pull this layout, and I want to drag it on top of this guy. Perfect. So I was able to add a layout here. And then let me say this is inline. I'll click on this gear icon and I will modify. We have done a lot of this, so any of our previous classes will help you understand how exactly section design is being done. Perfect. I set it to inline. Now, so how can I include a image here? So if you go to actions, now I think data display. If you click on data display, you should have option. Yeah. So you have an option to include an image. All I have done is saved as an existing section and I added a layout, and within that layout I want to add an image. To do that, I'm coming to data display and I'm pulling this particular guy and dropping it here. Or you can just click on this. See, drag and drop it into that layout. Do you see an icon getting changed here? Like a small image sort of a icon appearing when you drag and drop? Yes, no, right? Let us go to the settings. All the gear icons will take you to the settings for that particular element you're working on. That is something we should have already understood by this time. It tells, okay, it's a standard icon, it's what it's telling, right? And then I don't want this to be an icon. Let us see what other options are there. It is telling you can use an image, you can use an external URL, you can use a property or icon class. Right now, it has to be an image because I have uploaded an image. Let me say it's an image. And it is asking for what is that image here. If you're telling image, point me to that image is what it is telling. Canceling and coming back. I dragged and dropped a image control onto this particular layout. Open the gear icon from there. Here I am modifying it to pick image. As soon as I say pick image, it is asking me what image do you want to pick. How can I find that? Just click on this gear icon. And what is the image name we have given? ABC something, right? ABC image. Just give ABC and say fine. Are we able to get that, guys? Yes? No? Are we able to find it? See? Now I am saying, hey, I want this image to be displayed, and the image is something which is present in ABC directory which we created just a few minutes before, and the image name is abc image.png. Do we understand how exactly we can work using binary files and include images into our application? Yes? No? Let me submit this. Perfect. That is good. So now the Paytm image is coming up on my section. Let me save it. The Paytm image is here. What if I want to implement, for example, a sign in or a register sort of a functionality on this particular section? For example, I want to give something like this, like, it has sign in. Let us say we'll give something called as register because we have first name, last name and stuff. Let us say we want to give a register link to a user. How can we achieve that? Let's try to see that. Now, once you have completed this image, what you can also do is you should be having option to include a link. Is it pickers? No, I don't think it's pickers. It should be action. Yeah. So in the action, if you see from the palette, from the selection palette, there is an action drop down. If you click on the action drop down where we chose button, if you see previous implementations, we got the button from here. Under the button, you have something called as link. Are we able to see that? Yes, no. So let us use this thing and drop it into this layout. This should give you a small link with its gear icon. Are we able to get that? Let's modify it. Click on the gear icon again and say, I don't want it to be called as link. I want it to be like sign in or something else. So let me say this is register. Register here is what I want this to look like. Right? Say submit. Perfect. We got a link, but it should have some functionality, right? When you're calling this a link, but on click of that link, what do you want to do? For example, if someone clicks on sign in, he gets first name, last name, and the username and password, something like that. When you say register here, you have to give your first name, last name, address, stuff like that, and choose a password. We need to give some implementation like that. Let's try to see how we can do that. To do that, I don't think I do have those properties. Let us verify. Right click on the work class, go to your data designer and see if you have username and password being captured. Quite simple, nothing fancy here. If you have understood previous section designs, that this is like baby thing for you guys. I don't think I do have username and password. Let me add those two fields. I don't have username and password. Perfect. Let me add those two fields. Let me call it to do that, I'm just clicking on add field in the data designer, right? And then I'll call this guy username. Single line. Okay, that's fine. I need another, which is and another, and I want password also. PWORD password. Submit. So I added two more fields to my work class, which is the username and password. Should be appearing in the bottom. Perfect. The username and password are appearing here. Insurance. Perfect. This is good. Let me save this. So my properties are good. Now I need to design a section where I'll be able to capture these details. Yes or no? Like how we used to do, like for agency, everything we created a separate section and then we included that in one wrapper section. Yes or no? Have we done that, guys? Let's try to do similar implementation here. Let's call this particular section as, I'm creating a section by right clicking on section, telling new, I'm creating a section. Let me call this guy as a register section. Register section, part of auto work class, and then 0 and 0 and 0 2. Perfect. This should give me a blank template. Of course, I have to convert this to full section editor to enjoy the palette and other features which section design comes with. Perfect. And I don't want a stack layout. I want it to be inline grid double. Let me change that here. Inline grid double. And I do want a title for my section. This is a registration section. I will call it registration form. Make sense? Let me submit this. All we have done, created a section, change it to inline grid double, change the header to registration form. Okay. Let me add another layout within this layout. And let me call this guy. Someone else wants to join. Sorry, okay. Let me call this guy. Let me use the standard stack labels to left. This is the layout format. You can revisit our sections class to understand this much better. Perfect. Now that I have added this, let me add the properties which I want to display when the user clicks on this section. He should be able to see few properties. Yes or no? Let's add those. I want the first name, last name, email ID, phone number. Let me do a data capture, text input. Okay. And then what I can do, I can copy, I can paste, I can paste first name, last name, email, and then I do have phone number also, and I do have username, and I do have password. So I'm just creating a skeleton and I'll be configuring the properties here, right? Let's open this guy and let's say this is going to be first name dot. If you choose, you'll be able to pick your first name, submit. This has to be my last name. I'll be doing that same thing, just pretty similar to what we have been doing so far. Nothing fancy. First name, last name. The next piece has to be email ID. So dot email, right? And then I do want the phone number also to be captured while registering. Dot, do I have phone number? Perfect. Yeah, phone number. Submit. And I do have the username. Dot username and dot password. What? Password. Save. Perfect. So we were able to modify and create a section. All we have to do is, on click of that button, we should be showing this section. Yes or no? Of the register link, we want to show this section. Yes or no? Right? Perfect. So to do that, of course, where does the section go? What is a flow action? Exactly. So we have to create a flow action to hold this register section. Let us try to create that. Under the process category, right click, create, and then say flow action. My requirement is exactly similar to this. When he clicks sign in, do you see a pop-up coming on top here? Here you'll be seeing first name, last name, username, password, and stuff like that. I want to see something similar to this. Whenever you have a main screen and on top of that screen, if a pop-up comes up like this is also called as modal dialog. This is called as modal dialog. There is a modal dialog which gets opened on click of this button. Though the main screen is available in the back end, on the front end, you have one small window opening so that you can provide those details. We see that in most of the applications, yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Now you tell me, is this what sort of flow action should this be? Should this be a connector flow action or a local action? Assuming this back screen is the assignment a user is on, what should this be? A local flow action or a connector flow action? Even after providing the details, the user will be still on the same screen, right? Yes or no? Or in Pega's sense, he'll be on the same assignment. Don't you think so? So what sort of flow action should that be? Local flow action. That's how you will be understanding and implementing. Even though the user is providing details, he'll be returned to the same main section. This is the assignment from where he is coming to this particular screen. And then once he provides these details, he'll be returned to this screen. That means it has to be a local flow action. Did we understand what are local flow actions and connector flow actions in the local flow action class, guys? Yes? No? Perfect. So that's what we have to implement. We need to make sure that this particular flow action we create should be a local action. I right clicked on process, wanted to create a flow action. Let me call this register LA. Once we complete this, you will understand it much better. But just wanted to give you a perspective why exactly this has to be a local flow action. Now, of course, I'll be looking up to that particular section here, which I want to refer, which is register section. How do I make sure that this is a local flow action? How do I make sure, guys? We shouldn't even be taking this long because this was the class like 2 days before. Perfect. So under the action tab, there is the indicator which tells you to mark this particular flow action as local action. Yes or no? See, very important. You should remember this. I've stressed it sufficiently on the local action class. Of course, you haven't practiced enough. So that's why we don't remember, but we have to do it. Perfect. So I created a flow action, which is a local action, and I am referring to the right section I want. Perfect. Created a section, created a flow action, which is a local action. Let's go back to our main section where we want to include this. Where can I include this? For example, this is the link on click of which I want to show. Of course, I have to configure this on top of this particular link. Does it make sense? Yes, no. What do we want to do? On click of this link is when we want to show that section, exactly like how we are seeing on this Paytm thing. Right, on click of this thing, we want to show them sign in, username and password, pop-up window. Same thing we want to implement here. What we can do, when you click on the gear icon on the link, register here link, you can specify that. How can I specify that? Go to the actions and see, you can create an action set. What are we saying? We are saying on click of this link, so choose a event on click. What do you want to do? We want to show that section. How can we show that section? If you click on add action, you will see what? Do we see that? Is everyone able to see that? Launch a local action. Please launch a local action is what we are saying. We are saying please launch a local action. Let's fill in the parameters. What is my local action? Register LA. Yes or no? But see, what do you want to do on the target, like on the screen? What do you want to do? It's what it is asking. It is asking, do you want to replace the current? In the sense, on click of this particular thing, do you want to replace this entire screen with that particular thing? No, we don't want. We want to implement something like a window like this, right? To do that, we have to choose modal dialog. Makes sense, guys? Why we are choosing modal dialog? Yes, no, canceling, coming back. So we wanted to add an image to our application as well as show a registration link using which a user can click on that and see a registration section. Exactly similar to how Paytm is. An image like this we want to incorporate. And then on click of sign in, we want to show him the how we get username and password. We want to give a registration link where we can give the user can have username, first name, last name. You should be able to register through a window. To achieve that, what we have done, we have uploaded the file via binary file option and uploaded the Paytm file. We did that, which belongs to role file binary category under ABC directory. ABC image is what we included. After that, we went to the section where we want to modify that. We came to customer details, saved as it into our new rule set, added a new layout. Into that layout, we dragged the image control from here, put it here, and referred our new image. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? And then we were able to point to that image. See, image ABC directory, ABC image. We found that image. We just clicked here. We're able to search for that image and we put it here. Perfect. Once that is done, we also wanted to show a registration link. To do that, from the actions, I dragged this link and gave this registration link here. But now on click of this link, what should happen? I want to show a section. For that, I created a registration section and I added necessary details. And I added this section to the flow action because flow action is something which is being referenced wherever you want to show a section. Flow action is the container for section. Yes or no? See, within the flow action, you have section. Perfect. And we marked this as local action because we don't want the assignment to move anywhere further. We just want this on the same page. So we use the indicator and mark this as local action. Now on my main section, now that my the section and flow action is ready, I can refer that how when I go to the gear icon on the link, I can specify actions. On click of that link, I want to show a section as a local action. Do I have option for that? Yes, Pega is giving you option. It's telling on click, you can launch a local action and you can point to that whatever flow action is your local action. Your register local action is my flow action. And then I don't want to replace the entire screen. I just want to show it as a modal dialog. Does it make sense, guys? Understandable? Yes, no. Perfect. So now let us save this. Submit this guy. Save this guy. Okay. Let's run the flow. Customer flow. Let us see if our changes are reflecting there. Run. This should help us create a case. Perfect. So we are seeing the register this thing, but the image is not visible. Is it? No, right? We're not able to see the image. Let's try to see that. Don't worry. Let's try to click on register here and see if the section is popping up. Is it popping up, guys? Yes? No? Okay, let us try to give some details. What is the issue here? One visible issue is there. Tell me what is that? Password. Very good. So the password shouldn't be visible. For example, someone who is sitting next to you, if he is seeing your screen, he can easily understand what is your password. Yes or no? So this is not okay with me. I don't want this particular field to show this password. To address that, what can I do? I can go back to my section and see what is the type. If you see, this is the section which I am showing there. Let me open this guy and see if I can modify this. I'm opening. Come on. Let me open the settings for this particular field. And if you see, this is as text input. Let us see if Pega provides me something called as password. Does it? Yes? No? Are we able to see that, guys? See? Let us choose that. Now the control got changed from text input to password. Submit this. Save. Come to your this thing. You can create a new work object also, or you can just come here and refresh. I'm just doing a refresh here to see if it works. Let's go. and say register here. Make sense? Yes or no, guys? Do we see how easy it is to modify stuff like this? Perfect. Also, the image should appear. Let us try to see what exactly is the issue with this guy. Is it checked in? Let us check in once and try. Let me refresh this guy. Nope. Let me reduce this and see. So one way to debug is, doing this, or also what we can do, we can go back to our section, and this is really good, will help you understand how debugging works. Let me go here and change the image. Right now that image is not coming. Let me change the image. What are the settings we have? Visibility always, disable never, perfect. Everything looks okay. Let me find something different. Let us say I want to show Pega logo. Fine. Let me use this guy. Let us see if this image is coming. So the image I had was not working. I chose another icon. Let us see if this is working. See, it is changed. Save. Let's go back here and refresh this guy. Nope, it's still not. Oh, see? Makes sense, guys. Looks like the size of that image is causing some problem. Let us see. Let's try to fix that. Are we able to see the image coming up here, guys? Yes, no. Perfect. So this is how we will be, incorporating binary files. Let's try to see why our this image is not coming up there. Let me see. Treated this as sprite also. Mm, the configuration looks okay to me, but humans are prone to errors. They could be messing up something. You might not know, right? Auto PTM is not working. Looks like. Uh, Let me change this guy. 60 by 80. Check out. Let's try to refer that. Idea it should come, but looks like some issue with the image. Maybe it's proprietary. Also, we can try something else also. No issues. All we can do is, you can also refer a image through a URL. See, external URL, and you can point to a image, for example. Let us say I want this phone pay guy, and I will say copy link address, and then let us see if this works. I haven't tried it, but I'm trying it for you guys. Nope, not appearing. Stuff like this, like you can try it out. It ideally should work, but looks like some issue, which is fine. SVG logo, okay. I'll download a PNG logo, let us say. Mm, okay, I think I understand what the issue is. I think the directory has to be webwp. Let's create one more binary file, and I think we'll be able to solve that. Right click on the binary file, create, and then I will say phone pay. I'll say webwp png, create and open. Let's try to see if we can wrap it up as soon as possible. Upload, choose phone pay YN, upload, save. Perfect. Okay, got loaded. Let us see if this works. Let's go to my section, modify this guy, and choose image and say phone phone pay. Perfect. It's too big, but let's try to change it. Let's say custom and 100 by 40 or something like that. Perfect. Let us save this guy. Refresh our work object. Bismillah. There you go. Makes sense, guys. And then you register here button. Perfect. So this is what was planned for today. So if the takeaway from today's class is how exactly you can include binary files within Pega and how you can configure local flow actions on click of a link and launch it and provide details. I hope this was explained well and was understood by you guys in a thorough extent. Let me know if you have any questions.